Hello, gorgeous souls. Jody here, and I just wanted to talk a little bit today about your intuition, what it is, and really just kind of how to tap into it. So, for a long time, I didn't really know what your intuition was, other than like the occasional gut feeling you get that tells you, like, not to do something, not to go somewhere, run, hide, whatever. And while that's kind of part of it, there's so much more to what it is. So your intuition is your soul. It is your soul. It is talking to you. It is guiding you. So before we incarnate on earth, our soul picks a life plan for us. Certain situations, events, so that we learn lessons that we're here to learn, experience different things. And so, because it kind of just lays out our entire life, there's two parts to that. When we're born, we forget. We don't remember what our soul planned for us when we were here. And the more we get conditioned and programmed through society and family and life events and trauma and things like that, the more disconnected we get. But it's still always there. And it's what guides us on our path. It's like our blueprint. It's our own little internal compass that tells us, yes, this is right for us, or no, this is not right for us. When you're debating on a career or a job, or what school you want to go to, if you want to go to college, if you want to date this person, if you want to marry this person, our intuition is there saying yes or no to help guide us on what our soul chose before coming to this earth. But so many of us don't know how to listen to it. We don't know when it's talking to us, and we don't know what it's saying. And so we weren't, so many of us were not raised with how to know when it's talking, how to know, like, a lot of it is feeling in the body. And there's certain things that you feel if it's a yes or a no, certain body reactions and things. And we're not taught to really tap in and listen to that. But it's there to guide us. So you hear a lot of coaches and entrepreneurs and stuff like that saying that they lead like a soul-led business, and how they work less and make more, and they have more freedom. And a lot of that is because they make their decisions based on what their intuitive hit is, or they'll communicate. You can communicate with it and ask it questions, and they'll follow that guidance. And because that is the path that we're meant to live, it comes easy. There's no resistance or interference unless you have stored trauma or program conditioning or something, and then you got to work through that. But when that's out of the way and you follow your intuition, it's the path of least resistance. So that's how, like I said, people can talk about how, like, life is easy, business is easy, all this stuff is easy, and it's because they're listening to that soul guidance and they're following the steps that they're meant to take. So we also have the ego part of the mind, which is our logic. And it is the one that, it's where fight and flight is. It's meant to keep us safe, which means keep us small. Unfortunately, part of that means that it lies to us to keep us safe and to keep it small. So if you ask yourself a question like, do I want to do this? Maybe you're contemplating a job, or going out on your own on business, and you are like, do I really want to do this? And your first instinct, your first thought, your first feeling is in your mind and your body is a yes. And then you get the, but what if it doesn't work? But what if this? But what if that? So that first yes, that's coming from your subconscious from your soul. That is like, yes, 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 we want to do this. Everything after that, that is your ego stepping in to talk you out of it. Because the thing is, it's meant to keep us safe, and the unknown is scary. So because it's scary and it is unknown, it'll give us a million reasons why we don't want to follow it. So when we listen, when we make decisions based on what the logical mind is telling us, like I should take this job because the hours are decent and the pay is decent, but it's steady income, instead of like in my gut, I really want to start my own business coaching or, making a craft or whatever it is that you do or like to do. When you follow the logical part of the mind, that's when you start meeting resistance. It's harder to have that easier, smooth sailing, freedom type of life because there's always obstacles in the way, because that's not your soul's path. And that is the universe's way of saying you are out of alignment with your soul and your soul's purpose. And it does it to try to wake you up, to redirect you. So the majority of the people that I know were not raised around knowing their intuition, how to tap into it. It's all logic based, which is a very masculine energy thing. And we all have masculine and feminine energy. And I've talked about that in other courses and classes and things. So I'm not going to get into it really deep today, but the masculine is the things that you do, and the feminine is the more relaxed, creative, fun, play, loving yourself, listening to your heart. And the more you tap into that feminine, the stronger your intuition gets, because when you're in that feminine is when it really can come through. But listening and learning how to communicate, how to know when it's talking and know what it's telling you, that was something that I worked with a few coaches. I did a few programs. I did a bunch of stuff. And they all kept saying you just need to tap into your intuition and you need to go inward and blah, blah, blah. But nobody really explained like what to do. And so I didn't know what I was like listening for, looking for, what I was supposed to be doing, if I was doing it right. And then one day there is a business coach. She's very spiritual, and she was just doing a free live stream on Facebook. And she is the one that was like, this is, to learn what it's saying, like you have to do this. And then she just like broke it down, and I'm like, oh my God, that is like the easiest thing in the world. Unfortunately, it's not something many people talk about or teach, and it's definitely not something that I grew up knowing how to do. So I am going to get into it today. One of the things that I want to say before I get into it is, when you grow up, the more you follow that ego and that logic, the more disconnected you get from your soul and your intuition. And really it creates a disconnect in your body, because your mind and your body are two completely different directions. And so when I talk about coaching women and the feminine embodiment and reconnecting their body, it's removing the trauma and the wounds and the beliefs and the societal conditioning that they have, to reconnect their mind, body, and soul, so that their beliefs line up with their soul, their passions, their desires, the things that they want in life, instead of having beliefs that contradict what they want. And also with the body, it's reconnecting it. So you, like, when you connect to your body on a deep, deep level, it is different than just knowing what your body looks like. It is knowing how your body feels. What is your actual normal day-to-day feeling in your body? Because when you have all this programming and stored trauma, the way that your body feels is not your natural way of feeling, because your body could be stuck in a trauma response and fight and flight with your nervous system dysregulated. That's not your true natural state. So when I talk about reconnecting women to their bodies, it's reconnecting them to their true natural state, which also opens the channel for the communication with your intuition and your soul. And so your body, your mind, and your soul, they're all aligned as one. And when they're all aligned with the things that you want and the steps that you take and things you want to do, that is true alignment. Your feelings, your beliefs, everything is aligned to your soul's path, to what you are here to do, because we are all here to do something. We all have a mission. We all have a plan laid out for us. And when we are aligned, mind, body, and soul, to that plan, that is when life happens with ease. That is when you can work less and make more. That is when you can have more free time for your family and to be there for your children while running your own business and working 10 hours a week. You know, you see all these women, especially on social media, talking about a lot of this stuff, and it's because they're in true alignment. And they follow their intuition. And to me, I look at it as when you've spent your whole life disconnected from it on a deep level. You know, it'll kick in here and there throughout your life to be like, no, I got a bad feeling, it's time to go. That is also your intuition being like, hey, get the fuck out. Like, we shouldn't be here right now. Many people have had that happen, but to really connect on a deep, deep level and rebuild that connection, it's like a muscle, and you have to work it every day. You have to build it, and you have to build trust in it, because it's not something that you grew up knowing. It's not something you grew up knowing how to do. It's not something that, you know, is trusting in the beginning, because your ego is going to pipe up and tell you it's bullshit, it's a fucking lie. But it's not. It's the ego that is a fucking lie. It is the one that is lying to you and full of shit. So I like to tell my clients, well, honestly, I teach them to do it the way that I learned, because the way that I learned worked best for me. So the first thing that I did is I started with yes and no questions. And I start with questions that I know for a fact, there is no denying it. I know for a fact it is true or it is not true. Like my name, my age, how many children I have, where I live. You know, there's no room for the ego to come in and call bullshit on those, because they are a matter of fact true. So I sit down, take a few deep breaths and kind of relax, and then close my eyes, and I would ask the question, is my name Jody? Which it is. And I would keep saying it over and over and over, because as you keep doing it, the feeling in your body gets stronger. And then it's like think of like a toddler trying to get your attention. They get louder and louder and louder till they get your attention. It kind of does the same thing. So I would keep saying it over and over, and then notice where you feel it in your body. Like some people feel it in their chest. And this is, remember, at this point, this is a yes question. We want to start with a yes. So like some people feel it in their chest, like it feels like their heart is opening or their chest is lighter, or, you know, I've had clients that feel it in their stomach, you know, where it almost feels like a butterfly in their stomach, or, you know, just sunshine and happiness, you know. And for me, honestly, I feel it in my coochie. I feel it in my kitty cat. Like, it's like I'm getting excited and turned on, and, like the lips flex a little bit because, they're like a muscle. And so it's like, whoo, like a really exciting feeling. And then do it again, but this time make it very much a no. So I could say, like, is my name Sarah? Well, my name is not Sarah. It's not even my middle name. It was never my last name. And so make sure that it's not your middle name or last name, like something that has never been your name. And I would keep saying it over and over and over and over again and see where I'm feeling it in my body. For me, a no feels very heavy in my chest. It feels like it's tightening up, like it's getting tight, like a dark, tight, tense type of feeling. And so, okay, that is my yes and that is my no. But do it with different questions so that you can really, really, really get to know that feeling in your body, that yes and that no. And practice it with things that you know for sure are true and not true. That's how you build trust. And building trust is, well, establishing the connection is the first most important step. Trust is definitely second. You have to trust what your body is telling you, what your soul is communicating with you, so that you don't question it. Because that's a big thing. You don't question it. That's why, you hear some of these very spiritual entrepreneurs that are just like, I get the hit and I go. And that's what it is they get the yes from their body and they act while they're in the energy and the excitement and everything else. And that's how somebody can, create one post and end up with 20 new clients, right then and there. They followed the intuitive gut and they acted right away, because you got to remember, we're made up of energy. Everything is made up of energy, and energy is always flowing. So if you wait on it, you're not going to be the energetic match for it anymore, because now it's moved on, you've moved on, and if you wait an hour to create that post that you thought of an hour ago and your body got all excited, but now, you're busy cleaning the house and you're doing the dishes and you're not in that same excitement, that same post is not going to land the same with the people that see it. It's not going to land the same with clients. It's not going to land the same with anybody who sees it on social media. So following it in that moment, and I know, like, me personally, when I get the hit or the post, the idea for the post or whatever, and I get all excited, I'll ask, like, should I do this now or should I do it later? Because maybe I'm not meant to post it now. Maybe I am meant to post it later. But ask. That's the thing, is it'll tell you, like, yes, this is what you need to post, but maybe you don't need to post it until later this evening or tomorrow. Maybe it's a hit for something to post tomorrow, and then you can, write it out and get it all ready, and then you're good to go. But for the sake of this training, let's focus on, like, the decision-making type of things. So we want to build trust. So practice with the things that you know are true and not true. Once you start really establishing that trust, you can start with different statements, like, I want ice cream, or I want chicken for dinner, I want sushi, I want this. And then you can kind of start feeling your yes and your no. And then, and you can start with statements that you know are true if you want to build that trust more. But if you start doing that and then following the guidance, like, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to do this, I want to do that, and listen to the yes or no. And if you get a no, don't do it. Follow with what the yes is. Keep making statements until you get a yes if you're trying to figure out what to make for dinner. Because maybe you don't think it's a big deal, but when it comes to like dinner or what to eat, that yes is going to actually be what your body needs, what nourishments it needs that day, because day to day, the nourishments and the vitamins and stuff we need are going to be different based on where we're at. You know, maybe you're running low on iron and you need something, but you're not realizing it. Which another part of really connecting with your body is you can tell when your hormone levels are out of whack. You can tell, like, I know when I'm going to start my period. I also always know when I'm ovulating because I'm that in tune with my body. So, intuition. Start with the yes and no questions. And then as you build trust, move to statements. But still practice it. Even when you build trust with it, still practice doing it. Because then as it progresses and it gets, you know, think of it again like a muscle, as it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, it's gonna come in more clearly. And you're gonna notice the difference between your body saying yes and no and your ego logical mind stepping in to be like, no, don't do this, it's not safe because it's unknown or it's scary or we have a fear or whatever. Your body, and it'll happen from time to time, but if you get a yes from your intuition on a decision to make and your mind steps in and you say, you know what, thank you, I, appreciate the concern, however, I'm going to do it anyway. And then you follow what the intuition says, after a while it starts quieting the ego down. And the other part is like, the more you do the deep inner work to release the trauma and the old programming, the less the ego actually speaks up, because it really doesn't have anything to speak up about. If you don't have any limiting beliefs or, programming around going into business, it's not really going to speak up all that much because you don't have any reason. It doesn't have any reason to. It doesn't have any beliefs that it's like, hey, wait a minute, what if this happens? They'd be like, yeah, well, what if it happens? It's okay. We're going to be okay because I'm following my intuition. So if something happens or it doesn't work, that means that wasn't meant to work. Like your intuition doesn't do you wrong. It is your soul's path. So if you follow it and something doesn't work out, it's because there was a lesson that you were meant to learn there. So don't get frustrated if you hit a little bump, because that will happen time to time, because maybe you need to learn a lesson and then you go, okay, so now what do I need to do? And you take the next step that you're supposed to do, and then maybe 5 steps down the road, something happens and you know how to avoid a catastrophe because of that one little lesson that you dealt with in the beginning. So there's a reason that it happens. It is always for your highest good and your best good and your soul's purpose, as long as you're listening to your intuition. And the stronger it gets and the more you build it, the more it'll just speak up without you even asking. Like somebody will invite you to, say they're having a party or a barbecue, and it's not really something you should be doing or be going, or maybe there's somebody that you don't want to be around that's going to be there, and mentally you don't know that, but your intuition will instantly tell you yes or no, and listen to it. Like if you get that feeling in there, then no, don't go. If you get the yes, then go. You can make life choice decisions, like any kind of decision guidance. I ask questions, I communicate with it all the time for yes or no. But you have to start with practicing. So I kind of went in on how to do it. When I was first learning how to do it, I really had trouble because my mind wouldn't shut off. Like the ego is telling me that this is bullshit, it's not going to work. All the other excuses that it comes up with. So I found that one thing that really, really, really worked well for me was meditation. And I know that not everybody does well with meditation. Some people do better with guided meditation because then their ego kind of relaxes because you're listening to the person talk. So I actually created, if you haven't seen it yet, There is on my YouTube channel, there is a recorded tapping into your intuition meditation. It's like 8 minutes. It's super short. You can listen to it over and over, but it helps kind of relax your mind and your body so that you can really tap in without the ego piping up. You know, because when you get in that meditative, relaxed state, your brain is in a theta, and so it's kind of like your ego's taking a little nap. And so that is already on my YouTube channel. So feel free to listen to it, enjoy it, give feedback if you would like. I would love it. I love feedback. And I hope that you understand a little more about your intuition and the importance of it and why everybody should start communicating with it more, because then we would all live happier, healthier, easier lives and not be full of stress and chaos. So thank you. I love you. And I will talk to you soon.